My question to you, Dorian, is about the post-Mr. Olympia depression that you mentioned. And I believe that in the fitness industry, it's something that many, many people go through once they decide to pack in, whether it's from an external factor, like happened to you with the biceps injury, or if it's more of an internal shift, which is something that I've been dealing with myself as well for quite some time, to be honest. I've managed to get a pro card with the WBFF, and then kind of I just realized that I'm not really going to make it on a pro circuit. And how did you deal with like letting go of the former self at that time, which was many years ago when you wasn't exposed to things like psychedelics or meditation or yoga? And obviously you said you did a lot of partying, which didn't help because you said you can't really replace that. And even the other things that could potentially give us some teachings, including psychedelics and meditation and things like that, it doesn't necessarily always work. Or if it does, then only for a very short time. And how do you integrate those lessons? Or are there other ways to overcome it and destroy the ego and move on?
Well, the thing is, what I realized, you know, it's not just the fitness industry. It's anything which requires extreme kind of tunnel vision. Your whole identity is tied up with that. So the thing I know about is sports, and I think it's very common in sports because you're in this all-consuming thing, and also your identity is tied up in it. I was Mr. Olympia, and everywhere I went, you know, I had to project this Mr. Olympia and this, you know, image to the public and to people, and be positive for the sport and all this stuff. And after some time, you start wondering which bit of that is really you and which bit are you doing because it's your job or your profession and so on. So what I realized, and it takes time, is that you're not going to replace that. Well, look on the other side. All the things I couldn't do when I was doing that. You know, I couldn't spontaneously say, hey, I'm going to jump on a plane now and go holiday here, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I couldn't do that. But now I can. So I started to see the positives of the situation rather than just the negatives. But it takes time, man. It took me time. It took me a few years. And yeah, I had fun partying and everything. It was cool, you know. I couldn't do that before. So it wasn't like, you know, abusive. That's all I was doing, but I was doing a good bit of partying. I just wanted to have fun for a while, you know. I've been so serious and so driven doing this, but eventually that gets old, you know. What I realize is you can't replace that, you know. It is what it is. You can't replace that, but there's a whole world of possibilities out there. That's what started to open up to me, you know. You can do pretty much anything you want, as long as you know, as long as you believe it. And everything starts there, you know. If you start thinking negative things, that starts to be the reality, you know. So it's important to try and get yourself in a positive situation. And you can change at any moment. Look, from 4 years since I met Brian, things have changed for me, just because I'm thinking differently. And life's for living, you know. Why would you want to do the same thing your whole life? Even if you're the best in the world at it, it's very limiting. So I just feel great now that I'm, you know, even at my age, the world's full of possibilities. And exercise and fitness will be always part of my life, you know, but it doesn't have to be lifting huge weights and following that path. Now I do yoga, I do cycling, walking, swimming, anything. I love to exercise, always part of my life, and that really helps me to keep positive. Even in the darkest times, you know, I was making sure I went at least, all I knew was going to the gym, so I kept doing that for a while because that's all I knew. But eventually I was like, hey, I can do this, I can do that, and it was fun, you know. So it takes time.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.